What is going on, YouTube? Working on another custom today, and today we're working on a 1970 Plymouth Superbird. Love these Superbirds. This was sent in by none other than Dave Akers. He sent this in a while ago, and I think I have a very, very cool idea as to what I want to do with this. I'm gonna go give it the old Nascar treatment. Although I do love this orange paint on there, I think I'm going to make it look a heck of a lot cooler. So anyway, got the posts all drilled out. And let's take this thing apart and see what we're working with here. Everything looks to be in fantastic shape, as it should be, since it was brand new out of the package. So yeah, there we go. Nothing too crazy. Should be a very straightforward build, hopefully. And everything looks to be in good shape. So I'm anticipating not having too many problems, but that's usually when you have problems. So let's get this beautiful orange paint off there and get this primered and painted so we can put some decals on there. As usual, I'm using Citrus Strip stripping gel to remove the paint. There's some other products out there that work a lot faster, but I like this stuff. Put a fairly heavy coat on there, let it sit about 15 to 20 minutes, and it starts looking like this. I wash it with some soap and water and go over it with some steel wool, and it comes out looking pretty good. I covered the car in some Krylon white primer, and then went over it with some Krylon Cover Max Satin Bright White. This paint scheme was on a Plymouth Superbird that ran in NASCAR in 1970 and was driven by Roger McCluskey. McCluskey is probably better known for his time spent in IndyCar, but quite simply, this guy would drive anything with a steering wheel. He earned national championship titles in 3 divisions of racing and later served with distinction as a prominent race official. He won the USAC National Sprint Car title twice, 1963 and 1966, the National Stock Car Crown twice in 1969 and 1970, and the USAC National Championship in 1973. He won 5 national championship races, including the 1972 Ontario 500, and finished either second or third in 25 other races. He also won 23 USAC stock car races, 23 USAC sprint car races, and 4 USAC midget races. He drove in every Indianapolis 500 from 1961 through 1979, with the exception of 1964, when he was sidelined because of a broken arm that he sustained in a sprint car accident. He was never quite able to capture the crown at the Indianapolis 500, with his best finish coming in 1973, where he finished 3rd. McCluskey actually pulled off a feat that very few race car drivers ever get to complete. He won his last race before retiring. In 1979, he won the Milwaukee 200, and then became vice president and director of competition for USAC. At the 1967 Le Mans 24 Hours of Endurance in France, during this event, McCluskey is credited with pulling Mario Andretti to safety and thus saving his life after Andretti had seriously crashed his Ford GT40 when a front brake locked. He only made 4 starts in the NASCAR Grand National, which is now known as the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, from 1969 to 1977, with his best finish of 2nd in the 1970 Riverside International Raceway. All right, I think it is time to get this Roger McCluskey Plymouth Superbird all put back together and see how it all turned out. But before we go any further, I did a wheel swap on this. I took these bad boys off. They just weren't really what I was going for, and I didn't think they looked really good with kind of the paint scheme I had going and everything. So I pulled these off of the old Barracuda And I think they're going to look pretty sweet on there. At least that's the goal anyway. And better yet, hopefully they're fast for the track I plan on sending them down. So anyway, I didn't do anything with the interior or the glass. So let's get it all back together and see how she looks. Only 2 more cars to go in this series, and then I am done with the NASCAR builds for a little while. I'm sure some of you will be very happy about that. Others may not, but I'm not going to abandon the NASCAR builds altogether. I still have a ton of decals I got to find a home for, so I will be making some here and there, but not 24 in a row like I did on this series. So maybe next year I'll do another series of these NASCARs. So now it is time for the moment of truth. Let's see how it all turned out. Oh yeah, check that out. Pretty freaking cool. Very happy with the way it turned out. The wheels still look a little off to me, so maybe I'll find something else to replace those with. Maybe I'll just go with the kind of the standard old wheels that they put on all the hot rods. I don't know. I really like the Roadrunner decal up there on the wing. Pretty cool. I will say that this is the first time I've really been kind of disappointed in the decals that I got, because this part is supposed to be blue, just like this, but they didn't include a decal that was blue to go on the hood. So you're kind of stuck finding a blue paint that matches that, and I just don't have a blue that would come close. And I thought it would look kind of lame having all these different colored blues on here. So I just went with the white hood and threw the 429 decals on there. And I think it looks good, but would definitely have been better if a decal for the front hood that matched the trunk lid was included. But I still like it. These are some insane decals with the Roadrunner and all that stuff. So I'm still digging it. It just would have been better if that would have been blue. Or I guess what I could have done is just cut the one out and painted the trunk and the hood myself, but I didn't. So anyways, the other than the wheels kind of throwing it off a little bit, I think it looks pretty sweet. I'm gonna look around, see if I can find some other wheels to put on there, but I think it looks a heck of a lot better than the wheels that were on there. So anyway, let's go take a few closer looks at this thing. Designed specifically for NASCAR racing, the Superbird, which was a modified Roadrunner, was Plymouth's follow-on design to the Charger Daytona, fielded by sister company Dodge in the previous season. In 1969, Richard Petty left the Plymouth NASCAR racing team for Ford's. Charlie Gray, director of the Ford stock car program, felt that hiring Petty would send the message that money rules none. However, the Superbird was designed specifically to lure Petty back to Plymouth for the 1970 season. Petty did reasonably well against strong Ford opposition on the NASCAR tracks that year, winning 8 races and placing well in many more. Due to increased emissions regulations, combined with insurance spike for higher performance cars, and NASCAR's effective ban on the aero cars, 1970 was its only production year. Superbirds had 3 engine options: the 426 Hemi, which cranked out 425 horsepower and 490 foot-pounds of torque; the 440 Super Commando 6-barrel with 3 2-barrel carburetors, which produced 390 horsepower. If you just went with a single 4-barrel carburetor, it produced 375 horsepower. It's estimated that with the top-of-the-line 426 Hemi, this car could accelerate from 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed this Roger McCluskey Plymouth Superbird build. And leave a comment down below with what you think. And we will see you on the next one.